Carolyn Ribeiro here from mining.com.au. Today I'm joined by Deep Yellow's Managing Director and CEO, John Borshoff. John, nice to see you.
It's a pleasure.
The company posted an upgraded mineral resource estimate for the Angulari deposit within the Alligator River Project in the Northern Territory. Talk us through what's been achieved since the maiden MRE in 2018.
So basically, in between that 2018, of course, we took over Vimy through a merger, and then in August, this program was straddled the merger. Part of it was started before the merger, and then after we merged. So the program was not optimal in terms of having the one philosophy, but still well directed. And there hadn't been much work done before for various reasons. Uranium prices were down, and it was just popping a few holes, trying to tickle up a bit of interest. And the big programs came in from our merger. So we have huge properties up there, and Angulari is just one target that Vimy, when they acquired the properties from Cameco, that was already an existing deposit, which had about that sort of resource that was announced about 2018. So the work essentially was to follow up both at the sort of deposit and a little bit peripheral, just to see what can be got. The results we regard as really good because, interestingly, yes, there's been an almost 30% increase in the resource base, but the fascinating thing is that all the resources previously and the one we announced today was that it was done on a cut-off of 0.15. And on that, the grade went down slightly from 1.29 to 1.09%. But when you increase the cut-offs, double the cut-offs, and normally when you double a cut-off, your resource goes right down. This one actually, only reduced by 8%, and the grade went to what it was originally. So they're really showing that there's a high-grade deposit there, and so that result was encouraging. Along with, we found some corridors immediately extending from there, which we can follow up with drilling. But the project is much greater than Angulari, although it's an important part. We're looking for 100 million plus pounds in this of high-grade material, and in the Alligator, which is one of the remarkable uranium provinces in the world. You've got to adopt a exploration plan that can then look at, when you look for big fish, you need big hooks and big ideas. And we've worked in that region since 1986 with other companies I've been involved with. So we're very excited about not only Angulari, but how we're going to explore all of the sort of adjacent country, of which we've got I think it's 1,500 square kilometres, and how we're going to, look at the nursery, find targets, and then again, parallel to that, there'll be drilling programs. So we're looking at a 3 to 5 year program in which to get this our targets, and we're fine with that. We've got uranium projects we're developing in Namibia and in Western Australia. That's Tumas and the Mulga Rock. So we're one of the few companies that are looking at a project pipeline, and I think in keeping with what is needed with this remarkable resurgence in nuclear, which a lot of people still don't understand how huge this is. A long answer, short question.
You kind of already answered, but at Angulari, the next step will be follow-up drilling. How soon do you expect that to start?
Look, it'll be. We are now more focused on the isolating the prospective corridors within this region, which haven't been looked at properly, on search models that we believe, applying geochemistry, geophysics, and all of those, and then having these corridors, of which probably will reduce the search area from the total tenement. 20% of that will be in these corridors. So we are looking more to start on those prospective corridors and start delineating targets, and we will allocate certain amount of drilling probably late next year, and this year it's all the regional work we need to do, which has not been done, and this is a really important part of and there'll be some great results come out of that work as well.
But the region that you're exploring in the Northern Territory has a long history of uranium mining. So how does Alligator River fit in, and have the results to date been in line with your expectations?
The whole region is underexplored, and even most of the work that's been done in that region is really being concentrated around the Ranger mine and Jabiluka, and all the rest. A little bit in the old days of Narbalek, and you've got DevEx and Alligator. I think it's Alligator. Yeah, the Alligator company. They've got some projects there, and it needs a huge amount of effort, a huge amount of work, so we're really looking at this with almost a blank sheet, and yes, there is some data around which we're going to pull together. We're going to do some airborne surveys, and really set ourselves up to really find those plus 100 million pound deposits, and those deposits might be 160 million, 120 million, and satellites, and all coming into a central mill, but that's that sort of model that we have, and that's why we're so encouraged to come into the Vimy joint venture, apart from the Mulga Rock project in WA, but also having, they had established a really good tenement position in the Alligator, which is outside the Athabasca, probably one of the major uranium provinces in the world.
John, considering the upward trajectory of uranium prices and the push for cleaner energy sources, you've kind of already touched on this, but how important would you say it is for projects like Alligator River to get off the ground?
Well, you got to look at it in a context that there is going to be a shortage of good deposits to mine. There is a phenomenal growth in commitment to nuclear now, and this shortage, the whole zero emission sort of quest. The more EV cars that put out, the more electricity that's needed, and the only one that can produce substantial electricity with zero carbon emission is nuclear. There's no doubt about that. So, and you see people now in the Northern Hemisphere, almost all of them, apart from Germany, are committing to nuclear. From it now needs supply. And supply means that it needs companies that really know what they're doing, understand the commodity, that have built uranium mines. There's only been, of the juniors when I was running Paladin, there was no companies that Paladin was the only junior that came to produce substantial. So it's a tough industry. It needs a lot of uranium. It needs to build uranium companies in keeping with the massive growth that nuclear will be. So each company has its own strategy how it's going to supply that. But I think that unquestionably, as more people are looking, that the renewables are good, but they're only sort of part of the answer. They only work for 6 hours a day, and the other 18 hours, then you've got to sort of think about it. And so it's not just electricity; it's replacing petrol, with the vehicles, and then how you got to grow electricity another 2 to 3 times. And the boys that are doing the renewables can't even get 10% of the total electricity production out of renewables. Never mind if it's triples over the next sort of 20 years. So there's big challenges, and thankfully everybody can say, thank goodness there's nuclear around, and to really provide that secure, dispatchable power that growing economies need. Ask China, ask now US, ask half of the EU. They're all absolutely on the bandwagon.
John Borshoff from Deep Yellow, thank you so much for your time today.
Not at all. A pleasure. Anytime.